assassination of the British ambassador in Dublin at that time was very unhelpful. That's the best way to put it. Now, if he hadn't been assassinated, how much that would have developed, I don't know. But that is the type of life that was being led. And the other thing I learned at that time, growing up as a young man, I used to enjoy having a fiery temper and arguing and debating and non-stop in situations. The other thing I learned very rapidly is that that was no longer an acceptable way to do things. So when he said, "You'd better go," I said, "Yes," and I didn't do what I would have done, say, 10, 15 years ago, when I tell you with this and carried on. The one about that you follow, I just walked out, and that was a very difficult time. And in a sense, it helped to end that situation, because what has to be understood is all the Brits that I've ever met were servants of the government. That's why they're there. That's the people they are. But having said that, they also have some of their own personal opinions. So if a thing like that happens, then it cannot be expected to come back and say, well, it's a mistake, or it's a misunderstanding, or the rest. So it didn't help at that moment of time. In hindsight, leaving the deaths of those people out of it, there was also another person called Sir Brian Cummins, what's his name? He became Northern Ireland Secretary. He just moved in, and somebody else had moved out. So all of this, these people all go back to their bases, they all do opinions, and as a result of those opinions, in my opinion, over the last 300, 400 years, take it back as long as you like, we in Ireland suffered. Because it was always what's good for British policy that mattered up until this present moment, and basically we had to live in London.
So did the thing then move in, and I think you used this term previously, into a bit of an ice age? Not long before Margaret Thatcher's on the scene.
Oakley rang me and said, I remember well, he said, "Put on your long johns." I never wore long johns, but anyway, he said, "Put on your long johns." He says, "We're in an ice age." Everybody misunderstood Mrs. Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister. They got her quite wrong. The people who would have been involved with Oakley, who were Foreign Office diplomats and MI5 spies as well, really believed, it's very mistake, get her in here, and we'll deal with her, in maybe a year or two, the rest of it. The whole place, nobody had anticipated the power that was coming from Margaret Thatcher.
Were you?
I didn't know her, I knew nothing about her. I mean, how could I know about her? I just knew she was a Tory elected person per se, and Oakley was saying, "Hi, batten down the hatches, there'll be no movement, no dialogue, nothing."
I suppose what I was going to ask you, at that stage, do you lock down your project? Do you realise it's a waste of time and this is going nowhere with this woman? Because very soon after that you have the 80 hunger strike, you have the 81 hunger strike, and you have all of the turmoil of that period. So
okay, this is a bit which may be very difficult for, I've said this to you on a number of occasions, may be difficult for others. I had never any doubt that this had to end up in a dialogue between the British and the Republican nationalist people. I had never any doubt. So when that shutdown came, that was okay with me. Because as somebody said, I may mention his name later, said, when they want me, they'll get me. They'll be back. Never a doubt about it.
We'll talk this a little bit, and there'll be a huge interest in this period. It's been there in the media for a considerable period of time over the last couple of years. Talk about the 1980 and the 1981 hunger strike. What do you think the British were offering? Should the offer have been accepted? What was going on?
You would like that you're running the country at the same time? Would you answer those questions in that order? No, thanks.
Well, I know this.
I'll tell you what the situation was, and it was difficult. I worked to get into the position I got into, I have to state that. But something else was happening. There was an atmosphere within the British area at that time that you did not speak before he came in, all dialogue, all discussion, didn't matter what it was, with the IRA, putting it bluntly, had to end.
Yeah.
Anyway, and any sympathiser of the IRA had to end. And I think, and maybe somebody here of that area will tell me that that meant anybody who was in any way elected or a community leader or anything was out. So at that particular point, I still had contact with Oakley. I've always had contact with Oakley.
I like them so much.
You know, there's a journalist in this hall, I could just see the sound bite. I didn't like him that much. He was a nice guy to get on with, but the point is that at that particular stage, the British had decided that they would win the war in the north, and there would be no discussions with anybody who was not on the side of winning the war. Right? So at that particular point, when the hunger strike started, if I might say something, I'm pleased when the time comes that the Republicans of that era would understand it. The hunger strikes were not wanted, and they were not wanted because if somebody understands this, it took away the whole energy of running a war, because the energy was going into prisons, it was going into basically taking people out and so forth. And the real danger was, forgive me for saying this, but I mean, you get to a point that you're at a certain age, you say, to hell with it. The whole energy at that point was to say the last thing we need is a hunger strike. Now, having said that, for people who in this room have been in prison, conditions within the prison was absolutely at its bottom line, couldn't be any worse. People were humiliated. I'm not going to preach on about how bad it was. You know, when people put their what's the polite word for their shit on a wall, you know, that's as close to total desperation as you can get. And bottom line, at that time we had the click of the heels on the corridors. We had people who had the uniforms, people whose job it was to make sure that these bad people were kept like that and so forth. And as I say, one of the leaders of that group was Roy Mason, who really believed at that time he could win this war. And that was always running through British policy, that this war can be won. So bottom line, they were talking to nobody within the movement, either directly or indirectly. But they had a guy called Brendan Duddy, who never committed, to the best of his knowledge, a crime in his life, wasn't a member of the various Republican sections, wasn't a member of the IRA, and they slid that past to our country. That's the background.